All right, today we are going to take an X95 Tavor with the 5.56 NATO barrel, and we're going to swap it out for the 300 Blackout barrel kit offered from IWI. So here we go. Show you how easy this is. The magazine. Clear it. All safe. Then you're going to take, it's about a 2mm punch, but there's a pin right here. You can do it with the tip of a bullet, but if you have a punch handy, you just push it in right there, and the pin comes all the way out there. Make sure it clicks. The buttstock drops open, and then the recoil mechanism will literally just slide out like that. Now once you have that open, there's two other, kind of fix this back here just a little bit so it stays out of your way. There's two more pins here. Push those down and out. I don't know if this technically needs to be removed for the 300 Blackout barrel, but we're going to do it because it's simple enough, and you may want to pop it out and clean it in the future. These two pins here, I noticed that you pull them all the way open. Usually there's one last click that's hiding in there, but make sure you get them good and open. Then this bolt carrier stop, I thought this came out with it originally, but it's actually just a cover, so you open that real wide, shake this down, and a piece there pops right out. You can set that to the side. Push these pins in a little if you want. Next step is to remove the hand grip here and guard. That actually does help hold on the foregrip there, so it's handy to go ahead and remove this, or else you'll be wondering why it won't slide off. So use your trusty Phillips screwdriver, pop that out there, and then with a little bit of a wiggle it pops right off, as you can see there. So far so good. Next step, we want to remove this this piece here, and this is a 3mm Allen. So put that in there, a couple twists, drop this screw. Once that screw comes off, you've got this unhooked, and it's just a decent tug here. Wrestle with that a little bit and it'll pop out. One thing I noticed when I was first doing this, normally they say that this is a separate piece. I noticed it just clips on there, so you can remove it just like that. When you put it back, it's easier to have it removed to slide it back in. But that's that. You want to come over here. The next part will be the barrel disassembly here. So take your 2mm punch, pull up your little pin holding that. Don't lose that guy. I mean, shoot off across the floor. Pull it out right there, and then you can unscrew this bolt here, holding the barrel and the rail on. Got that out. Set that to the side. And the next step's probably the trickiest part, but what you'll see right here is there's a locking tab right there, and you're going to use your 2mm punch, and what you're going to do is you're going to push down in that tab, and it's going to flip up. I don't know if you can see that on there, but it flips up, and you need that to flip up and out of the cover there, and when you turn it on the opposite side, it'll allow you to go from lock to open. So you want to take that white line and go all the way to open, and then your barrel and your rail will slide right out. So let's see if I can do this here on camera. Push that open. They send this wrench with the 300 barrel blackout, the 300 Blackout barrel, and I can see why, because it does put a good amount of pressure on there. I think the easiest way is to brace it against myself. Sorry, you might not be able to see, but all right, we're gonna try a different tactic. We're gonna go from the bottom, hold it here, flip that left side up, and there it goes. And once that tab slides there on the outside, then it's pretty easy going. It's just a little bit of the angle of the fadangle. All right, so we've got that open, that's flipped around there. With any luck here, we should just pull and the barrel should come right out. Let's see. Yep. There we go. So that's how you remove the barrel from an X95 Tavor. One thing I did notice with the 300 Blackout barrel, everything looks to be the same, except the 300 Blackout barrel, for whatever reason, is about ½ inch longer. There's a few extra threads here that's showing that's not showing on there, but still overall, you know, about ¼ inch to ½ inch. Anyways, not really a big deal, but the only thing that I thought was interesting, and I'm not sure why they didn't just send it, but on the 5.56 barrel that has these rail holders, you don't need those on the 300 Blackout. All it uses is 2 screws from the top here on the rail, and I don't know why they don't just send you 2 screws with the kit, because then you could just leave this all together. But what you'll do is you'll take your 4mm and unscrew them from here, from the 5.56 barrel. You can dump them out right there. And then you're set to pretty much put the 5.56 barrel to the side in your rail. And then with the 300 Blackout barrel kit, it provides a new rail. So we got that. Set that right on top. Make sure you get facing the right direction. And it's pretty well keyed. It goes in one way, and you'll feel it sits real nice and flush. I've got some 242 Loctite here. I'll just put a little bit on the threads there. Drop that guy in there. Squeezing it all over. Oh. That down in there, get your Allen wrench. Slide those down. Nice and snug. And there you have it, 300 Blackout barrel, and it's ready to go back in the gun here, the body. So we just work backwards, drop this back in here, and it may be a little snug because it's a brand new part, but turn this in, there it goes. You get that nice satisfying click, and you're back in there. So now we start reassembling it. I'm going to use this piece with the pin, put it back in there. This is a little tricky because it has a flat spot on the threaded screw right there. So you sort of have to get it going and pull this back, thread the other side, and then you can sort of pull the nut and the bolt where there's tension on it and then screw it in. Face it where you can see the hold, put the pin back in. Get it down until it sits nice and snug. Use your Allen. There we go. All right, so that part's back on. So now we can twist this lock back around from open to lock, and this is a lot easier going this way. And it is snug. There we go. We'll line back up. And our little safety here drop back into place, so you know that you've gone all the way around. All right, so we got that. Oh, I also noticed you've got to lock this barrel back in before you can put your charge handle back in. You got to look down in there, and there's a little hole. Get your charge handle, and then it'll actually slide all the way back. If you don't have this locked, it won't slide. It runs into the lock. So if you're wondering what's going on there, that's what happens. So when you go to put the foregrip back on, make sure the round part's facing up. I noticed that the clearance on mine was just a little bit tricky. I'll try not to wrestle with it too long here, but needed to have a little extra persuasion for the new 300 Blackout barrel. Once you get it started, that's the trick. Okay, there, finally got it. Here you can take your charging handle and you can click it back up onto the foregrip and then pull it tight to where everything seats nice and clean. Back on there, we'll take our threaded Allen, drop it back in this hole. Is this the 3mm? It's right here. Probably should put a little Loctite on that one too, but for the video, I'll just go ahead and snug it down. That's all back together. That's locked. Pins back in. And now we can put the grip back on. That's as simple as lining up the pieces. Phillips screwdriver, screw that back in. Flip open cover there. Let's see, do I have this the right way? It goes this way. Tall side to the forward of the gun. You'll see it finds its home, but push your pins back in. Put your pin there, back, drop your buttstock. Take your new 300 Blackout coil mechanism. There it goes. So it's home. Buttstock in. Put your pin. Now you can check it. And you're back together. Alright, so now that you've got the barrel and everything back in there, it's time to replace this little striker plate here for the shells when they eject. So slide this back, push this little flap down here to your bolt striker, and it'll hold this breech open. Not sure that you really have to do that, but you'll notice it just kind of gives you a little bit more room to pull this cover out. Then you need a 9/64 Allen. The other two are metric, 3 and 4 millimeter, but for some reason this is 9/64 standard. But you might want to have that one handy. Pop that little guy off there. Pull this. And out. Not sure what the trick is here yet. Might need a pick. To break it here. There, okay. Well, took about as long just to get that one piece out as it did put the whole barrel group in. But they sent another one. They look identical, so don't know why you need to switch that out, but I guess I will because they just sent it with it, so I'll keep it with the 300 Blackout. Clips into place. It's a whole lot easier to put in than it was to take out. That up. Put a little Loctite on this guy. They do supply this screw. Don't know why they don't for the rail, but it is what it is. All right. And that looks like that's that for swapping out the barrel on the X95 Tavor from a 5.56 to a 300 Blackout. Awesome.